bring on Nick. Nick, where are you at, buddy?
I'm right here.
That's my little buddy. How old are you, Nick?
I'm 23.
23. So he's 1 year younger than my son, Frankie. So it's like dude, I coached football for 17 years, right? And
hmm
and like I love those kids. If you know anybody that came to watch me coach, you talk to my kid, you talk to Frankie. Like those kids were my life for a lot of years. And I lost that 3 years ago. What they're seniors now, so 3 years. It's been 3 years since I coached. 4 years. This will be the fourth year, and I lost that like excitement of working with young folks. And now that I got a bunch of y'all on it, I'm excited again. And I think there's a lot to be said about having someone that will tell you the truth. Because in this business, without Sean, I wouldn't be sitting here. And I've said that a bunch of times. People are probably like, "Nah, I don't believe it." And trust me, sometimes I thought he was a dick. Like seriously, like half the time I hung up with him 5 years ago, I'd be like, "God, he's an asshole." But I would sit there and think about what he would say, and then I would try and remove the emotion and my feelings out of what was said to me. And then I realized what he's saying is actually right. I just didn't like how he delivered it, but actually I didn't mind how he delivered. I was just mad that he was delivering it, period. So working with Nick and Devlin and Bruns and little Frankie, which is, he's bigger than I am, but I still call him little Frankie. It's gotten me excited again. And working with you has been, I don't want to say a challenge. It's been fun, but I also don't know how hard to push people. So I wanted Nick to come on here because I want him to be brutally honest with y'all, because you guys can probably look at his numbers, and if he hits Hall of Fame this year, I wouldn't be surprised. If he misses it, it'll be by a few $1,000s. So like he's a rookie agent. I mean, you're probably what, December will be 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's not he's 10 months into this thing, and he's over 300,000 issue paid for the year, right at 300,000. And he's beating himself up every day. And I'm like, dude, he's like, I only got X amount in my bank. I'm not going to tell him how much you have in your bank account because somebody will call and ask you for some money. He's like, I only have this much in my bank account. I was like, bro, I didn't have that much in my bank account until like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Like, what are we complaining about? But I'm realizing that with social media, what everybody's seeing nowadays, the results of all these young people making money or supposedly making money. Because here's what I think. I think most of the stuff you see on social media is bullshit. I think a lot of these people that are posting pictures of cars and things, and I think it's fake. That or they're in debt. I'm not saying there aren't some. Like you can look at Jay Masca's page, and trust me, he's got that money, and he does own all those cars. And I just literally talked to him an hour ago, and he's like, I was like, "Were you in Alaska?" He's like, "Yeah, it was awesome. I bought a cabin when I was there." And I believe, like, he bought a cabin because he makes $500,000 a month. So, but there are a lot of people that don't, and it's dangerous for y'all that go on there and start looking at this stuff and thinking that you should be where they're at, because A, they're probably not even where they're pretending to be, and B, nobody gets there without getting through this grind and learning the business. And there's going to be ups and downs throughout the entire process. And even when you think you've gotten there, hell, I just had another conversation with an agent that's not on our team, that's on Nina and Hayden's team. They're like, dude, I thought once I got here it'd get easier. I'm like, well, it doesn't ever really get easier. There's always stuff. It's just different stuff at different levels. But would you really want it to be simple, Nick? If every phone call you made, they were just like, okay, I'll buy life insurance, how boring would that be? Like, I'm not saying the money wouldn't be cool, but dude, you would
Yeah, it'd be
lose
boring.
be boring. Dude, the shit is what makes it exciting. So, Nick, introduce yourself and congratulations for y'all. Like, can we I don't know how y'all make those things pop up on the screen, but I've seen it before. Like a round of applause. He just got married, which is
Let's
awesome
go.
at 23. Yeah, I like that, Heather. KG, I knew KG would do it. There you go. See that? That's cool, Nick. Um, and so introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you did before this, how long you've been doing it, what your best month is, and then we'll get into doing some questions and stuff like that.
All right. So Again, my name's Nick. I've been in the business since like December. Um, my best month is like 39,997, I think it is. Like not even joking, issue paid. I got into the business before I was in the business. I was cleaning pools. I worked for UPS, Jersey Mike's, um, basically any job that would pay me more than the next job. I worked that job and then would just quit when I could get paid more. I got into business from a friend. He was my upline for a while until he wasn't the best person to learn from, so he's no longer here. Um, this is kind of like I don't know. I think the turning point in my business, like honestly, was going to the annual convention. That's why I'm so excited for this one. Before annual convention, so in January, I wrote 12 grand. And then the month I got back from convention, I wrote 30 something, like 30, 32, I think.
32, the,
Yeah.
the the month you got back from annual convention, and that's
Yeah.
that's always happens.
Yeah.
That always happens. And so let's go. I want you to be as honest as you as you've been with me with all these folks, because I think it's important to understand the battles that agents go through on a regular basis. And we're going to get into mindset. We're going to get into leads. We're going to get into trying stuff without getting, you know, advice and all of that stuff. And he's smiling because he's like, but dude, this isn't complicated. And I think a lot of times we tend to complicate it. So you came out the gate pretty hot, right? You started in December, you came to convention, then you were like 30 grand issue paid. You did that like you were writing a good amount of business the first what, 2, 3 months?
Yeah. I also think this is kind of funny. At annual convention, me and Devlin thought our shit didn't stink because we were at like 10 grand in December. Like we thought we were so cool until we saw everybody there. We're like, oh, we're not cool. We're not good at this at all.
Well, you got humbled, which is good too.
Yeah.
Some people need to get humbled every now and again. I think that's important. Um, so you came out really strong after convention, and then you hit a little bump. Can you go walk me through that? What it looked like, why you think you got there, and then we'll go from there.
Um, I think a big thing was not, I think I was really transactional in the beginning. I think that was a huge thing for me. So I started facing chargebacks. Like I said, the person I got in the business with didn't teach me very well. So all that business I wrote in the beginning, the early months started to fall off. That was a lot of adversity. So I had to constantly fight that debt. Um, I think that was honestly the biggest thing.
I don't disagree. And so just so these folks know what not to do, can you tell me some of the things that you were trained on to like what so they don't say this stuff? I don't know if I had to guess, I could probably guess some, but tell me some of the things that you were trained wrongly, and then what you were doing and now what you're doing to make that persistency and the sticking money stay better,
Um,
more sticky.
if just literally anything. I mean, it was really transactional. I mean, the script was maybe 3 minutes long. It was like how much
Oh,
you want to spend. Yeah, it was bad. How's your health? Like it was how's your health? All right, went right to True Stage. That was our number one spot to go because I didn't know anything about underwriting or any of that. So True Stage is our number one go-to. Definitely no underwriting. Like put clients in the right positions. Um, ask the right questions. Don't if someone makes $1,000 a month, don't put $100 a month towards insurance. Maybe don't even write them. Like, just don't do stupid shit just to get paid.
yeah. Well, and I think, there are a lot of teams in this industry that train that way. Like say whatever you got to say, do whatever you got to do to get the app written so you get paid. And at the end of the day, that's not our job, right, Nick?
Yeah.
Our job is to help the clients because that's what they're looking for. And this is an incredible industry. If you do it the right way and you absolutely and you figure it out, you could do it for a long, long time and make a good amount of money. But if you do it the wrong way, you're not going to be around long. And there are plenty of people that we've seen do it the wrong way, and they're no longer here. Kind of like the person that brought you in,
Hmm.
and for y'all that like recruiting doesn't like. I didn't hire Nick. I didn't recruit Nick. Somebody else that I recruited Nick. That guy's gone. Now we have Nick. Now Nick's building a business. That's the way it works. So like if you guys are recruiting and building, You should not just talk to the person you recruit, but if they recruit people, you should be talking to everybody because you never know how long that's going to be until someone just decides they don't want to do this or they do something stupid and they're no longer here. So, um, we're excited, Nick, that you are here. Walk me through mindset. This is something that we've over the last 3 months really been hounding on. And tell them all of it. Like if you don't mind sharing some of
Yeah.
the stuff you've shared with me.
Well, I'm still working on it, so it's still not that great, but I
We
have
all are.
probably the worst mindset possible. So a big thing, like I would say probably 3 months ago, I like to blame everybody but myself for anything. So um just anything. Like I'll blame the leads, I'll blame the stupid effing client, I'll blame um sorry Frank, but I blame Frank. I just blame anybody for anything that goes wrong and never say, well, did you do the things like 3 months ago, I would say I was working 12 hours a day, but I was probably, I don't know, dialing in the morning a little bit, go play a video game, get back on, play another video game, get back on, go hang out with my girlfriend at the time, and then yeah.
Do you know how much, dude? And I'm so proud of you because you know how hard that is for people to admit. Like it truly is. And once you understand, like I don't know if any of y'all ever been to like an AA meeting. I mean, I'll raise my hand. I'm not definitely not embarrassed. I was in rehab. Like I was a disaster when I was younger. Like the first step to get, thank you, colleague. The first step to getting help and getting better is just to admit you have a problem. Like it doesn't change just because this is business. Like that's a success principle. To admit that you're not doing it right can only lead to one thing. You can get better at it if you accept that. And I'm glad you went that deep because I think a lot of people tend to do that. They're like, oh, and I know because Mike generates leads for half the company, and because Mike does it, and I'm the one that begged him to do it because he's the only one that could figure it out. We help him, so we field the calls of the agents crying and complaining about the leads suck, and these people aren't on my team, so I can't go like when Nick calls me and goes, the leads suck. I go, no, you suck. It's not the leads, bro. Give the lead to Dom. Give the lead to Jacob Bruns. Give the leads to a closer, Marisa or Rami. They'll close the lead. It's not. It never has to do anything to lead. It has to. So what do we need to do to get you better? What changed your mind? What got you to realize? You know what? I need to start looking in the mirror instead of looking outward at everything else and change the inside if I want this to work. Because it's a huge step. Like once you we always used to say, once you make the decision, it's over. Like once you decide that this is it, that you have zero doubt in your mind that you can't win, dude, you've already won. Like you are 100% going to win. When did you make that decision?
Dude, to be honest, when you told me to read that, which was actually pretty recently, you told me to read this book. I got it right here. This book is really, really good. And I'm not someone that reads The Noticer. Like it's just a mentality book, but I mean that was a big turning point. Just the your perspective on things will really change your mentality. And just being so negative, I mean, I could be like it carries over into your personal life. I mean, I have a wife now. I can't be doing that shit all day. I can't be negative after work. So that was a big turning point. Just trying to become, it's kind of deep, but just a better person in general. Like can't
I
just constantly blame and be negative towards every single thing.
and didn't you go to a couple? Didn't you make some office visits to
Yeah.
like, and by the way, a different team inside of FFL has an office not too far from you, and you went there and tell me what you learned there because you posted in our chat when you got back. You were really excited about some of the non-negotiable stuff. I think it's big.
Oh yeah, I mean that those teams, it's Wiley Hawkins' team if anybody knows who he is. Most people do, but they just have non-negotiables every week. So like, um, I don't know, just the way, just seeing their team, like the way they operate, and like no one's in there complaining was like really a big turning point. And then the non-negotiables, like I don't know, some they'll put like sales goals like 10 grand, or you gotta run 5 miles, or one sale a day, just things you have to do every single day to keep, you know what I'm saying?
To not punish
Yeah, to
yourself,
not, yeah,
to hold yourself
exactly.
accountable, really.
Yeah.
And that's a choice too. Like, I mean, and we're not, you have an agent. We're not going to mention names because we're not throwing people on the bus, but you got back, you were excited. You and I think a couple other people committed to doing this, right? And then the one
Yep.
agent was like, I'm not, they didn't hit their number and they're like, well, I'm not running, right? I mean,
Mm,
is that what you told me?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and this is where people get frustrated because Nick, how many times have I mentioned something that I think you should do? I mean, that you didn't do.
I don't know. I feel like you tell me to do stuff and I don't do it, and then I ask you
Yeah,
again and I do, and then I do it like after
yeah.
like
I
four
mean,
times.
exactly. But am I ever you and you said something the other day to me that when I hung up with you, I was perseverating on this, going like, why do you say that to me? Do you remember when you called me? You were like, dude, please don't be mad.
Yeah, yeah. Because he
Am I
told me
ever
not to
mad?
do it, and then I did it.
I got you, but was I mad at you?
No.
No. So lesson if you're in my position, if you're in like if you're building the business, my job's not to get mad at people because people are people. Nick, while he's a great dude and he's young, he's learning his way. He also has an ego, which isn't a bad thing,
I have a
right?
massive ego. Yeah.
A ma- Dude, by the way, all of the top producers at the company have massive egos. All of the top team builders have massive egos. If you don't know how to handle and manage the people's egos on your team, you're going to absolutely fail because then it becomes an ego battle. When I give Nick advice and he goes, "Okay," and then he ignores it and he calls me back, I don't kill him. I don't need to say to him, "I told you so," cuz he already knows, right? So we just keep it moving. I think so. Tell them what. So are you? Can you start with me what you changed 3 months ago as far as your schedule goes? What you do every morning, and then your dial schedule, and then we'll get into leads in a little bit because
Yeah.
this is another good topic for you.
Um, so I go to the gym every morning. That's the first thing. I don't like doing it, but it really gets like the difference between me, like sometimes I'll skip the gym and not going to the gym in the morning. It's actually crazy. So that's like a big win. I try and get as many wins throughout the day as possible. Like I count a win, going to the gym in the morning, waking up early, reading my Bible is a big thing. So I always read my Bible in the morning. Now I do like I'm on like Grant Cardone's. Someone at this office in Austin sold me on Grant Cardone's like sales training. So every morning I'll do like a 30-minute training on that. And then I start dialing just because I think it's important, especially in this business, to have small wins throughout your day. So that
Mm.
if you have a shitty day in sales, you still have your wins because your whole personality cannot be this job. Like I know this job is at like, it's a full-time thing, but you got to have wins or you're just going to be miserable constantly. Like there's days where I don't get sales. There's days where I don't even talk to people. So you got to have those small wins to build your life.
Well, and if you think about it, you get up in the morning to go to the gym.
Hmm.
You just said it. There's a lot of times you don't want to go, but you go, so that's win number one. And what time
Yep.
do you go to the gym?
So I wake up at 5 and I'm at the gym by 6. I'm in the door by 6.
So he's at the gym by 6. You're done by 7.
Yeah.
Then you read your Bible.
Yep.
Okay. And then you do your Grant Cardone training or your self-development training. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
Grant Cardone.
Depends on what it
It
is.
could
Yeah.
be
It can be something
reading a
different.
book, whatever it is, because it's never ending, right? So before 8 a.m., he's got 3 wins. Dude, do you understand the power that has to your mindset when if he said on Monday night that tomorrow morning I'm going to go to the gym at 6, but he decides not to get up, and then he running late, so he skips reading his Bible, and he maybe does halfway through his Grant Cardone training. Now he's got 2 losses and not even a full win. His whole day is shot before it even got started. So I think it's such a big thing, and that was something that you and I had talked about even, you know, 3 months ago is of having this like non-negotiable morning routine set. Because if you played sports in high school, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like y'all don't. If what did you play?
Football, baseball,
Football. What position did you play in football?
wide receiver.
Receiver. That absolutely makes sense with how I got it. Okay, y'all did. You guys Friday Night Lights game at 6, 7 p.m. Y'all didn't pad up and then go out to the field at 6:55, coin toss and start playing. You got on the field at 5:30.
Hmm.
stretching, warming up, repping plays, going over the game plan, warming up. Like all the stuff he's doing in the morning, working out. Whether you don't want to, like, dude, I'm fat. I don't want to work out either. I walk every day, every morning. I walk just to get my blood flowing. I I walk with Jamie. We talk about the business, talk about God, we talk about whatever it is. But it's every morning, and then every morning is reading. You know, I like to read the Bible too. I like to talk about every morning. Why am I thankful for what I have? What, dude, the minute I wake up and I take my first breath, you honestly all should be like, thank God I'm alive. Like, but if you have that attitude, dude, everything else is pretty simple. And I'd encourage everybody to read that book. It's called The Noticer by Andy Andrews. It's not the greatest sales book I ever read, but it's in my top three of books I've ever read because it changes the game if you can understand perspective and how to look at certain things. And do you still wear that? So, yeah, show them your. And this is why I'm loving working with young folks because I don't even remember what you called me about it was probably 2 3
Yeah.
weeks ago. Do you remember what it was?
Um, I was just having like a bad sales week or something.
And where you talking about buying leads or something and doing something, whatever
Yeah.
his issue was, I was like, dude, just don't. And if I offend some of y'all, I'm sorry. I was like, don't be a bitch. Like, knock it off. And he goes, dude, I'm gonna get a bracelet made. And I'm like, that's genius because every time he starts, and what do you do every time you start doubting yourself? Do you look down at your wrist?
Yeah. I always look at it.
He's always looking at it. So it's like small. That bracelet is fire, Marisa. I agree with you. Colleague, you're ordering it. Are you ordering the book or the bracelet?
The book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We need to order the bracelets. FFL, don't be a bitch. I might order 1,000 of those when we get off this call. But it's the small stuff, and some of y'all, I've had conversations. Colleagues, I'm looking her to face. Like I've had hard conversations with Collie, where I know that I know that I know that she's not liking what I'm saying to her, but she always knows that it's coming from a place of just wanting to help. And I think Nick, back when you and by the way, guys, that takes time. Nick, we've known each other now for what? I mean, 10 months?
Yeah.
I really didn't know you before that. So how long till you really started trusting me? How long did it take?
Quite some time.
Yeah. Oh, and that's okay. Why? Tell me why it did so these folks can understand as well.
Well, no offense, but we're completely two different ages. Like
Of course.
that's a big thing. Um, I don't know. It's
Are
you're
you not trusting by nature?
no, I think I mean, you have your own stuff to do, so you're not always you can't babysit me. So I feel like you don't know what I'm like going through. You know what I mean, or what's
Yeah.
happening because you're not sitting holding me the
Yeah,
whole
for
time.
sure. And did you not want that?
Did I not want what?
Did you want if I would have sat on a phone with you every day, all day, and just listened to you, would that have made you happy?
To be honest, I'm a very dependent person. I'm not going to say it's going to make me happy to sit in somewhere with a 50-year-old, but
Hey, I'm not 50.
but you're close. No, but I am a dependent person. Like I like to,
Yeah.
you can ask anybody who's in this business that I have their phone number. I probably text them 5, 6, 7 times a day.
Okay. And did you understand why I would? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Do you understand why I don't do that?
No.
Okay. Perfect. I'm glad you said that because my job's not to babysit you. My job is to teach you how to manage your mindset and to make money in this business. The only way to learn to make money in this business is to do what?
Learn.
Learn and by doing. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing I can say to you. Like you called me today and you were like, "Hey, I had this lady." I gave you like 3 words, like a couple word tracks that may or may not have changed the game. But the only way to get better is to just keep doing it. And I'm looking, just so y'all know, like I'm looking for someone that when I go, "No, I can't do that." That he doesn't cry, doesn't complain, doesn't blame me, Goes, okay, let me work so hard that when I call, he'll answer and help me when I need it. And it's not like I'm not special, but Sean didn't babysit me. He said, go to work. Don't be a bitch. Knock it off. Have some respect for yourself. You have a family to take care of. Why do I need to babysit you? So it's like we're trying to create independent agents, and Nick is, and I'm not like I love him. I think I have more confidence in Nick a lot of days than he has in himself, but that's okay too. That's also my job is to believe in him so much that eventually he has that same belief I have in him in himself. And he's starting to get there. He said, I'm still working on it. Yeah, everybody's always working on it. If you think for any minute of the day that there's no negativity that runs through my head and I don't like, you're wrong. I'm human. Like we're all human. But watching you go through this growth is why we do what we do. So can you hit on some of the mistakes you made and how you've corrected them? You started with mindset, which is huge. You went from being complaining to now really paying attention to what you say, how you say it, what you're thinking, what you do in the morning has a huge help. Reading the Bible, reading that book, perspective. What about leads and all that stuff? Walk me through
Um,
what that journey's looked like.
I constantly change my lead flow and try and cheap out and do anything to spend less, make more money. So, I mean, there's been time, like, I've been on vet lead since I started, but there's been time, like a point I was, running $2,500 a week in vet leads. And then I got down to 1,200. And then it was every other week. And it was sometimes, and like I just keep constantly changing stuff. Now I'm on a Facebook campaign, but that's not working too well. So I'm going back to I'm adding in some premiums and aged vets just because that's what I know. I mean, if you see my numbers now, it's not public, but it's not hasn't been good the past 2 months.
And nobody's mad at that, by the way. And I think this is such a huge learning curve for you. If you go back and you ask me this, how many leads do I need to buy to write this amount of money? And what was my response to you?
It was about the math.
Do the math,
Yeah, do the math.
right? Do the math. Go back and figure out how many leads you bought, how many leads it takes you to write one application. And if you want to write 10 apps a week, if it takes me 10 apps to write one app or 10 leads to write one app and I want to write 10 apps a week, I need 100 leads. This is really, again, when we say it's not complicated and you're like, man, I suck at this. It's complicated. I'm not being rude. I'm just trying to get y'all to understand it's really not that complicated. If you stay consistent with it, this stuff will work out. And that's my message, has been my message to Nick over the last week when he called and was like, these Facebook leads aren't working out. I'm like, I got you. I understand. But when you said you were doing that, did I kill you with that either?
No.
No. Why? Because I'm not trying to not sell him on what he's trying. And oh, by the way, it just might work. Like if I micromanage my people, now if he's going to do something really stupid that could cost him being in this business, I'm like, it's like if my child's walking into the middle of the street, I'm not just going to be like, hey, Frankie, come back. No, I'm going to scoop him up and I'm going to drag him out of the street. Like if Nick was about to do something that could be detrimental to his business, I'm definitely going to step in a little more aggressive than I did with the Facebook. I'm like, I don't like it, but give it a shot because it just might work, right? So, but the conversation we've been having is if you try something, you got to give it 90 days to see if it works or not, right? And if you go back and look at your numbers, when you were spending the $2,500 a month is probably when you were writing the most amount of business. Not probably, it
And
was. That's the way
I
it
wasn't
works.
even dialing as hard. Like I was just dialing like a baby.
You were down, and
Like,
you were still
yeah.
writing. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, um, tell these folks why it's so important to do that, and what you learned over these last 2 months of this experience, that experiment that you did
Why it's so important to do what?
to stay consistent with your leads. And if you have leads that work, don't like. I'm all for trying new leads, but if I know that I know that I know vet leads work, dude, I'm never like I always tried leads. I tried annuity leads. I tried internet leads. This is back when I tried all kinds of leads, but my bread and butter was my mortgage. Dude, I never shut that off. You know what I mean? Because I knew that if I got 42 leads, I was writing 12 to 15 grand. It was that simple. So why would I ever turn that off? Make sense? Okay. What is your goal for the rest of this year?
I really do want to hit Hall of Fame. Um, I have to write like 50 grand the next 2 months, like
So you got,
each month,
yep.
which is it. I mean, my highest month being 40 grand. That sounds like a long shot, but it's really not. I mean, this month I just been paying off a lot of debt. That's a big thing too. Debt is a huge thing.
Perfect. Let's talk about it.
I took, well, so I got married at October 10th. I didn't work really at all before my wedding just because I was so excited. Like it was, I would dial, like barely dial. Um, that's a big thing is complacency too. You can get into that too, but um, what was I talking about before? Not complacency. Oh, debt.
You
Yeah,
that
just
yeah.
I mean, I wasn't working before the wedding and debt started stacking up. That's when I switched to leads. And it's like it's all right, I'm getting married. Like that's what I care about right now. And I get married and I come back and it's just like the debt did pile up. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I joined the business and I didn't learn very well. So I probably have a lot I've faced a lot of debt. Like I paid off in the past 2 week or like month, probably like 25 grand in debt,
Okay. And he's
which is a
still
lot for me.
and look at him. He's still here.
Yeah.
He's still smiling. He's still working. Like yeah, and I told him the other day we were talking about this. You were like, well, "How much is the debt?" You were like 25 grand. And I said, "Okay, good." I said, "When you come to me and you have 150 grand in debt, I'm going to tell you, welcome to the big leagues. Congratulations, you've made it." Like debt is a part of this business. It's not going away. And I think the sooner you guys wrap your brain around that and accept it, the easier this becomes. Dude, that doesn't scare me. It is what it is. What would scare me is if I couldn't get my hands on leads, or if I couldn't make phone calls, or if I couldn't get in my car and go knock on a door. Like that would scare me. That doesn't scare me. There's no reason in the world. I've heard him dial that he can't issue pay 60, 70, 80 grand a month. No reason in the world. And he will. I have no doubt about it. He will. I have no doubt about it. He'll hit Hall of Fame. We'll guarantee that he's going to hit Hall of Fame because all it is putting in the work, and he's not afraid to do that. Um, if you had to say, give me your top three things for brand new agents. How many brand new agents, if you're brand new or within, if you're less than a year, because that's still brand new to me. If you've been here less than a year, drop a one in the message. Okay. So to these newer folks that are in this, but that haven't, and I'm looking at these names, they probably have not written as much as you have, to be honest with you. Um, Tell them the top three things they need to do to get moving fast and keep those results stable and steady.
I would say I would definitely dial. I think like in dialing intentionally. Like don't just sit there and you have to dial with intent. Like set a schedule. If you're gonna take a lunch break, take a lunch break and then get back to it. Like just focus on actually dialing, and a big thing that I just started doing too is tracking presentations and sales to figure out how many presentations you need to actually get a sale. I can't believe it took me 10 months to like start doing that, but like so it takes me like I don't know. I did like 50%. So like 50% of my presentations I close or a little bit less. So I need, if I want to do 2 sales a day, I need, 4 or 5 presentations. That's a big thing to know just to track, what you need to get where you want to be. Because then at the end of the day, it's just leads at that point, right? So if you can close one out of every 2 presentations, say you get, 10 presentations through a 30 pack of vet leads, and, just do the math, whatever. It's a big thing. I would say staying positive because the moment you start getting negative, it just snowball effects. So just always be positive and don't get complacent. Don't get some money in your bank account and then stop because that'll snowball too. You need to keep putting in the work and um, what's it called? Time where you work. The momentum is a huge thing in this business. I realized that after my wedding. Like if you take time off from this, you got to restart. It's like you don't know what you're doing afterwards. I swear. Like it compounds. Like you get a sale, you get that confidence onto the next, onto the next. But if you take a week off, you got no confidence, you got no leads, like you have no money coming in. It does take a toll. So just being consistent, dialing with intent, and staying positive, which sounds cheesy, but it's really true.
No, it's so true, and I'm glad you brought up the word momentum because I was going to ask you about momentum, and it is so real. Like I I compare a lot to football because it was such a big part of my adult life and my whole life with and then with coaching and momentum's definitely real. In a football game, it's super real. In business, it's super real. And when you lose it, it's so hard to get back that I think and listen, y'all will get momentum at some point in time and you will lose it. And honestly, if I'm sitting here being honest with y'all, I hope you get momentum and lose it. And I hope you get it and lose it so that you understand how important it is so that the next time you get that momentum, you decide to pour more gas on that fire as opposed to just walking away from it and letting it burn. Does that make sense? So like all of this stuff is just it's allowing folks to grow in a healthy way and understand because we talked about ego. Nick said, "Yeah, I got an ego, a huge ego." Well, dude, no person with an ego wants to get told what to do. So you talk to them, you advise them. They're going to take what they want to take, and then when they don't take what they need to take, but they take something different and fail, it's okay. It's all a learning. It's all a learning curve. And the faster we get through that learning curve, the faster his results will be where they want to be. Someone asked Nick, "What's your lead spend for 39K?" And it's Adam. And I'm gonna let you answer what you spent to write 39 grand, and then I need to add to that because it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not that good at selling. Like I'm still working on um objections, like objections handling. So it's take took me like it was probably like eight to 10 grand. Like it's somewhere in that range to write that much. But yeah,
So and it's like we break it down like this. I go, Nick, if you give me 10 grand, I'll give you 30. Would you take that?
100%.
Of course. So it's like it doesn't really if you said to me, give me 10 grand and I'll give you 10,500, I'd say yes. Like I'm not it's simple math. There is no set lead spend for everybody. Now everybody should be spending at least $2,000 a week. If you're full time, you should be spending 2 grand a week. Period. End of story. But for Nick, what'll happen is he gets on this consistency train and he's spending, let's just say you're spending $2,000 a week or even 2,500, whatever you want to call it. You might only do 30, 35 grand your first 2, 3 months. But what'll happen is once you get to 10,000 presentations, now you're a professional presentation giver. 10,000. So like if you do the math on that, how many presentations you do a week, you can calculate how many years it's going to take you to become a professional. But your numbers will go up. So like you'll go from $2,500 a week and then you'll write 10 grand a week to $2,500 a week will get you 15 to 16. It just works that way because you'll get better at, like you said, handling your objections, closing the ones that maybe could have been closed, but you didn't quite say the right thing. So all of that comes up, and then also you might go from 2,500 to 3,000, and your production may go up 75%. It happens that way. It's the way it works. So I don't want y'all to get focused on any number other than you should be spending 2 grand a week because you need as many swings at the plate as possible. And if you're brand new and you don't have 2 grand a week, no big deal. We can show you how to get there. But it's just a matter of committing to once I'm there. The best thing that FFL had in the beginning was locked out counties for leads. And what I mean by that is they had a draft. And in the beginning it was like 16 of us. And Sean being Sean, and whether it was on purpose or not, it was genius. He went to a lead company, said, "I want all of the leads," and the lead company said, "You can't have all of the leads unless you buy all of the leads in every county." He's like, "We'll do that." So we literally had a draft on the phone, 16 top 16 of us, or the 16 of us that were here at that point in time that were so-called managers, and we drafted counties in the country. And once you drafted them, they started dropping mail. Well, if y'all understand how mail worked, I could drop mail today, but I'm not getting a letter back for 3 or 4 weeks. So there was no stopping mail without like a 3 or 4, and actually it was 6 weeks when someone wanted to cancel leads. 6 weeks after you cancel your leads, any lead that came in, you still had to take because the mail house already sent out the mail. They stopped mailing anymore, but for the next 6 weeks, you're still continue to get mail in. That was the greatest thing that ever happened to us. There was a million times that I wanted to stop my leads because at some weeks our leads were 20, 25 grand a week. A week. Like people won't spend 25 grand in a year on leads. We were spending it in a week. And I had no choice because we couldn't turn them off. And I think if you have that mindset, and that's what I'm working with Nick on is, hey, can you get in the mindset of, hey, 90 days, I'm not, unless it's like completely not working, I'm not writing anything. Like 90 days, stick with this plan and it will work. That's what y'all need to do. Because I guarantee it, 90 days from now, when he hits Hall of Fame and he's averaging 40, 50 grand a month, it's a different ball game. And then you look up in 6 months and you got this money in your bank account, and then it becomes easy. And I think you're so close. I'd like to say you're harder on yourself than you should be. I've heard you dial. You're good. Can you be better? Sure, everybody can be better. But you've also only been doing this for 10 months. So it's like, you want to be good as golf as Tiger Woods, but you only play golf 4 times. What? You know what I mean? Like perspective. You look at people like Jacob Bruns. Yeah, he's really good, but he also was trained by Dom, which everybody can be trained by. He's got plenty of training out there, and he's been doing it for 3 years plus. Like he's got 3 year head start on you. You know what I mean? So, um, I'm excited for you, Nick. I think a lot is changing, and the results are changing, and you're starting to grow in business the way you need to be where you want to be. And that's as simple as I can put it. Does anybody, let me see who's on here. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask Nick? And don't unmute all, please, because they'll freak out. If you have a question, just raise your hand and I can unmute you, or I can say unmute. But if everybody unmutes at the same time, just gets weird. Anyone at all? No, not at the moment. Nay. Okay. Kali, Crystal,
I was gonna ask,
Heather.
yeah, I did have a question, Frank. Nick, so you talked about what your lead flow spend is now. What was it when you first got started?
Actually, when I started, I was on, I mean, they were cheaper, but I was buying vet leads, like, and I had a recurring and I didn't stop it, that actual recurring order until like June of this year. So I was on, I think it was like $1,000 a week is when I started on,
Okay.
but they were
And what
cheaper at the
happened in
time.
June?
I just added more. I just bought, like, I got the bigger pack. I was still
Okay.
on, I was still on them.
Still on them. Okay.
Yeah.
You've never stopped
So
the vent.
what would you tell somebody that's new, Nick, that's scared to invest and spend?
Um, from experience, there's always going to be, I mean, it's a quick way to, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I'm brutally honest. It's a quick way to tell if this business is fit for you because my first vet lead pack, I didn't close a single one. And then the second one, I just made my money back. So it's a quick, um, it'll tell you real quick if this business is for you. Not saying, you're definitely going to sell one, but I think it's the money's always to be made as long as you have an upline too that'll help you. You at least make your money back. That's not the best advice, but I'm just brutally honest.
No,
Okay.
I like that
Thank
advice
you.
because you didn't quit either after you didn't make a sale on your first
Yeah,
purchase and you only made your money back on your second purchase. It's a quick way for not only you to figure out if this is for you, but for your upline or your manager to figure out if this is for you. Heather, you got a
yep.
question?
Yeah, real quick. Nick, I see you a lot on the dial team now. How do you feel like that's helped you, if at all?
Um, I think it helps hearing top producers talk. What I need to really do is start unmuting because I don't do it at all. But I think hearing like you and Rami and Marisa, if she ever unmutes, it's like once a month when they unmute. I think it really helps me just hear like how the script goes, because I run like the same script as Rami, so it really helps.
For sure. Tell them to unmute. Get your minds right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, it's 7:02. Crap. This went fast. All right. Well, Nick, thank you for hopping on and being as transparent as you've been. You are, and when I tell you he beats himself up, he beats himself up. Like he's at $300,000 10 months into the business, and he's beating himself up in his first year in business. Like, can everybody just give him a round of applause, because that's hella good results. I would have traded place with you a million times over if I would have been able to write 300 grand my first year in the business. Like I'm as dead serious as possible that this is what you're doing, because people write so much. You think it's not, it's incredible. So great job on what you've done in year one. I can only imagine what you're going to do in year 2 and 3 and 4, but keep rolling. Wrap it up for us with anything you want to say before we let everybody go.
Thank you, everybody. And don't forget, comparison is the thief of joy. Don't compare yourself to anybody.
Amen.
Focus on
to
yourself.
that, brother. Appreciate you, man. Love you. Thank y'all. You guys have a great day. We'll see you guys tomorrow is the CRM training, and then Thursday is the SRS call. So make it a great week. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.